Hey people, welcome to the Run Testers. It's Kieran here and welcome to the latest in our partnership series with COROS. In this video, I've accepted a massive challenge that is going to push me and the COROS Vertix 2 to its absolute limit. I'm going to take the COROS Vertix 2 and its incredible 140-hour full GPS battery life and put that to the test, pitting it against 7 marathons in 7 days, finishing up with the London Marathon here in the UK. So if you're interested to see how man and machine get on against a challenge like that, you've come to the right place. So here's the challenge in a nutshell. I'm going to put the COROS Vertix 2 on and I'm going to run a marathon a day for 7 days in a row. That's 26.2 miles or 42.2 kilometers for 7 days in a row. That, I'm going to check the stats, is 183.4 miles or 295.4 kilometers in total over the week. And I'm going to finish all of that at the Virgin London Marathon. So I have no idea how long each marathon is going to take, but if you look at my COROS marathon predictions as they stand now, it's got me running a 3-hour 20 marathon. I'm definitely going to be slower than that, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get slower during the week, but we'll see how that goes. So for each run, I'm going to change up the COROS's GPS and battery life settings to test out all the different modes that are on board this watch. So we're going to let you see how the different GPS and battery life modes affect that overall burn rate. I'll also clock the battery burn rate between runs so you can see what's happening when I'm running and when I'm resting in terms of how that battery life performs during the week as well. I'm also going to dive into the EvoLab training insights to see what each marathon does to my kind of key performance and training stats. So we're talking about things like my running performance, my resting heart rate. I'll be doing a heart rate variability test using the ECG every day. I'll look at base fitness load, and of course the interesting one will be fatigue. And we'll see how well I recover each day or not, as the case may be. But before all that crazy running starts, let's have a look at the key battery life stats on the COROS Vertix 2. So for everyday daily use, you're going to get 60 days on a single charge. Using standard GPS, where the watch pulses the satellites every second, you'll get 140 hours of runtime. If you make use of all the satellite systems, you still get a whopping 90 hours of runtime on a single charge. Fire up the all systems plus dual frequency mode for the most accurate real-time readings, and there's still 50 hours. That's enough to take on multi-day ultras. But if you're planning on disappearing into the wilderness for days on end, there's always the low GPS Ultra Max mode, and that extends the battery life to 240 hours. That's 10 days. Yep, you heard us right, that's 10 days tracking. So, 5:15 in the morning. I'm up for marathon number 1. The Vertix 2 has just come off charge at 5 AM and it's on 100% as you can see here. I'm just having some breakfast, got some eggs and some avocados going on. That's my pre-run staple when I go out. I've got a big coffee as well, which I feel like I need today. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually feeling pretty tired even though it's day 1. I've got a little bit of a sniffle as well, so that's gonna make it very interesting this week. The other thing, hold that thought, just a little window into my world. Every day I've bagged up one of these, which is all my nutrition for the day, everything's sorted. So as well as my kit and my nutrition, everything is almost kind of laid out so that every morning all I have to do is get up, eat a bit, stick it on a backpack and just get out the door and go. Here goes marathon number 1 with the COROS Vertix 2 in full GPS mode. So here we go, marathon number 1, 6 AM, out the door on time. It's dark. Let's get the watches going, let's go do some running. So up and out on the first day, about sort of 10 minutes in. Feels good to be moving. People have said to me, what's going to be your strategy for this? The answer to that is keep moving forward for about 4.5 hours or however long it takes every single day. So the sun's up and the rain has arrived. Anyway, we crack on. So marathon 1 is done. Last 4 so miles, definitely started feeling the legs, so everything's seized up to bits. You do at the end of a marathon, hips. But when has the last 6 miles of a marathon ever not had that? But yeah, ask me if I want to go out again tomorrow right now, and the answer is no. So here are those key stats after marathon number 1. Then we only lost 2% battery on that first marathon, 4 hours plus marathon. When it comes to our fatigue, hit 55 and base fitness was at 68. The load impact was at 90. We were 37% recovered after that first run, and we've got 44 hours, it says, until we're supposed to train again. Running performance was 104. Battery life when we went to bed was only down 3%. Day 2 then, 5:20 in the morning, we're up. We're going to try and leave again at 6. I don't know if you can hear it, I've got a little bit of a sort of head cold. I think my immune system took a bit of a battering yesterday. I've thrown a lot at it, so I'm hoping that's going to hold off. Yeah, I didn't sleep too well as well again. There's a restlessness that comes with doing this, where you know what's coming in the morning, and I'm going to have to sort of work on getting my head into the right space where I'm sort of accepting what's happening to me and what I'm going to be doing. I have to try this morning. I've been thinking about trying to make sure I'm looking forward to the run. This is an opportunity for me to go out and run for 4 hours every day. When does that ever happen? So I've got to try and flip it and get into a positive, embrace the run. There you go, that's that. And in terms of the battery life for the COROS Vertix 2 here, so after a 4-hour marathon yesterday, a whole day's tracking and a night's sleep, 96%, we've used 4%. So that's pretty good. Yeah, anyway, I better get up and eat my breakfast and get cracking. So we are off again, 6 o'clock, Tuesday, marathon number 2. Let's get into it. Oh, very slowly, everything's creaking. As miserable as it feels when you first step out or you don't want to get out of bed, you get here and you get views like that. Here he is. It's Weymouth's Ironman champion. Hello mate, you're up. Miles into day 2 then. I have to say, running with somebody else has made a massive difference. That first bit, Dave was brilliant. Psychologically, that just chatting, just moving, steady pace, it's really important. And another thing I wanted to say, the difference here between doing something like this 7 days in a row here in London versus out in the desert at the MDS or in a bigger race is, when you're doing those things, you're in a bubble. Here you're sort of doing your everyday life, sort of to fit in around it, and there's just something about being in your own locality that isn't quite, it's harder to maybe to get the focus. But yeah, so it's very different. But we're running pretty well now on day 2. Long way to go in this. Still got a good 16 miles. But yeah, feel good now for this stretch. So it's 19 miles done on day 2. Not gonna lie, I'm coming through a bit of a bad patch now. There's a moment every day where the knees and the hips tighten up and it becomes a bit tricky, but plod, 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 plod. Done. Hard towards the end there. Probably just as hard as yesterday, about the same. So day 2 then. Battery life after that second marathon down only 9% to 91%, still holding strong. Our race predictor had gone up to 3 hours 26 for the marathon. Fatigue had hit a 71, base fitness was growing at 79. Our recovery was 6%, taking a lot bigger hit. Then by the time we went to bed, we'd burnt 11% overall.
So it's the morning of day 3, everyone. It's about 5:20. I'm heading out for my run at 6 again. Just wanted to make some sort of notes really about the battery life so far, what I've found, I mean, the COROS Vertix 2 is currently at 88%. So I've done a 4:17 marathon, a 4:34. So you're looking at close to kind of 9 hours GPS running in kind of the top level settings, plus 2 whole days of general tracking, and it's only burnt 12%. That's a pretty remarkable performance. It's burning around 1% overnight, or actually sort of between the runs, sort of 1 or 2% tops throughout the day. So even when I'm off running, and that's been really, really brilliant. You know, today is just about, it's Wednesday, you know, day 3, sort of into that mental game. If you've ever done hill reps, you'll know that, you know, the hardest part of it is the middle ones. So I'm in that bit, the middle bit of the hill reps, but doing marathons instead. So yeah.
Moving, and that is a very happy thing. Just happy to be moving. Sort of feel weirdly freer than yesterday, but yeah, any kind of movement when you first get going, that is a bonus. So I mean, did you look at that? Tell me that's not worth getting up for and running in the morning. The hardest part of doing this back-to-back marathons, day after day after day, getting up and doing this distance, is that section about 5 o'clock in the evening, then to bed and waking up, where it starts to loom again the following day. You know, you've gone through this kind of glow period of after your day's run, where you're eating and you're recovering and you're not running, and it feels quite good. So it hits 5 o'clock in the evening, you start to think that next run is starting to loom large, and now the pressure is on me to get to sleep. I'm tired, I'm sort of physically tired but not mentally tired, because there's a buzz going on. And then right through until you kind of leave the house, there's this sort of feeling of enormity, and that's the bit you have to manage. It's those feelings of slight feeling of dread, and they're not real. You know, it's a cliche to say run the mile you're in, but you basically have to. You have to just get out, move, keep moving, accept the miles that you run well and feel good, and accept the ones where you're suffering, and just go again the next day.
So after 3 marathons, we dropped 19%, still going strong. 100% fatigue, base fitness up to 90, recovery was totally in the bin at 0%.
So marathon 3 just done, literally back through the door just now. That was kind of incredible. Actually really enjoyed much of that, which is kind of strange. It's happened before, like day 3, day 1 you got the novelty, day 2 the body just goes, what are you doing, why are you doing this again? Day 3 it goes, oh, all right, so we're at this again. Helps it was a beautiful day out there, wonderful sunrise, sun was out but it wasn't hot, but just the river was spectacular. Obviously dragged the last couple out as you do, but yeah, so 3 is done. Now time to get into recovery. Tomorrow I get to run somewhere different, so far so good.
Day 4 of the 7 in 7 big battery marathon test, and COROS is doing well. It's only at 78% after 3 marathons in 3 days. And all of those have been using either sort of the full GPS or right up to the highest level, that dual frequency mode. So, and its burn rate is really, really impressive. It's kind of remarkable. 22% for that kind of run is, you know, would have been unheard of going back sort of 4 or 5 years to get that kind of performance. I'm not doing quite so well. According to, my recovery is in the bin. I've only ever managed to get this back to, like, I'm on 15% recovered at the moment, according to this. So every day it's a bit of a mess, but we're getting there. Today I'm going to run to the London Marathon Expo to pick up my race number. So I've got a bit of a different course. I'm hoping that's going to freshen things up. Obvious things are hurting, kind of calves are tight. Some of the tendons are still a little bit creaky. Feet are fine. But yeah, I mean, the performance of the battery here on this thing is just incredible. By contrast, the Enduro is now at 59%, having done the same kind of work as the Vertix. The Phoenix is on 22%. So that's it. That's the update for day 4.
So we're out for day 4, and it's the first one in the daylight where I'm leaving. God, it's hard to get out of that front door this morning, but we're off. We're going to be heading towards East London, then back to the Mall for the London Marathon finish, then back over to the Expo. But yeah, about to get moving. So let's go and see what the legs give us for number 4. So we've stuck the Vertix 2 in Ultra Max mode today, just to see how that fares. Welcome to London traffic, by the way. Just to test that kind of low energy GPS and battery life to see how it drains. So we'll find out on day 4. So I've got myself in a bit of a pickle here. Sort of on a dual carriageway on a bridge. looking at the Millennium Dome though. So I'm just finishing off marathon number 4.
Those all-important post-run stats. Then after day 4's marathon, we were down to 74%, 100% fatigue still, and recovery still very much hitting the zeros.
So number 4 done. It's the first time I've ever run to pick up a race number, but that feels good. Looking forward to putting this on Sunday to finish the job, and onwards and upwards tomorrow.
So today is day 5, just checking the battery stats whilst I have breakfast. We're down to 72% after 4 marathons and what's like nearly, I guess, sort of 18 hours of GPS running, various different settings. What's really interesting looking at the stats now, it gives you your estimated sort of daily amounts left. The estimated GPS use left, still 36 hours. So 3 marathons to go, it's going to cope with that. So yeah, got 36 hours left on that. But yeah, day 5, we're hoping to go for a sort of similar run, 4.5 hours or thereabouts.
So 5th marathon in 5 days, we're off. Today we're going to put the Vertix 2 battery life to the challenge using music to see how the percentage drops off when we've got some music fired up. So I've got paired headphones in. I might not be able to do 4 hours because I've only got about 6 tracks on there, and I don't think I can handle listening to the Verve's The Lucky Man for 4 hours on repeat, so I might only do 2, check the drop from there. But actually the music has helped get me moved today, so we're off and out. Number 5, on we go. So the rain has arrived to make it about as bleak as it's been so far this week. That was some rain we just had back there. Wow, for a minute, well, for about 20 minutes, it was like the sky just turned dark, sheets of rain. That is going to make a 5th marathon in 5 days tough, and now very wet. So we're inside the last 2 miles now. So that's marathon number 5 done, and the Vertix 2 is down to 55%. So we're talking about 22 hours of GPS running in various different settings. That was kind of 3 hours with headphones paired in as well, so the battery would expect to drain sort of more quickly. But yeah, still half full basically.
up to do the 6th marathon. Today the plan was to whack the Vertix 2 onto full GPS and pair in a chest strap to see what the chest strap body drain would do. But I'm going to show you why I've changed the plan, because on the first run on Monday I wore a chest strap and it has sort of sliced a hole in me and it's made it very sore there to wear another one. I've never really had that before, so I don't know why that's happened. I've run a lot with them, but on ultras with them that's never happened, so I'm not doing that. So I think I'm just going to whack it back onto full GPS and just see how the battery holds up again for that, which will be like a regular test. It's going to be a hard one today, very tired. So the Vertix on day 6 on the morning is on 52% battery left. I haven't even used half of it after 5 marathons. A couple of those in the top kind of juice burning modes where you're listening to music, and the other one with the all satellites and dual frequency modes on. So that's a good performance so far. 2 to go, and we'll see what we get left with. I think this watch is basically going to outlast the challenge easily.
Mate, you've saved me today. So, number 6 is in the bag. What to say about today? It's quite an incredible run, really. It was so hard getting out this morning. I felt really down. It was a bit, I was worried about it, to be honest. I got moving quite well early on. Felt good actually when I got moving. Weirdly, the strangest thing about this is actually my body feels happier when it's moving and doing that now, for at least for 20 of the miles, than it is when I'm lying in bed. And then I met Matthew at 6 miles, and he took me for the middle 13 of the marathon and just made it just an absolute joy to be out there. Actually, we just had a great chat. Just miles ticked over really nicely. And then the final 6, brilliant. Just felt absolutely brilliant. Emotional, a bit weird, a bit wired, but yeah, I felt really, really good. So I'm happy that one's in the bag. One more to do tomorrow.
Day 7, London Marathon day. Feeling tired. I'm just going to run, get my head down, enjoy it.
We're basically just at the start now. We're going to go and test the last marathon on this. We've basically done 6 and it's down to 40%. So we'll see how it goes in this last one. But that is a pretty impressive performance so far. So that's it. We're just about to go over. We're getting in the wave. We're going to send us off to start. Number 7 in 7. We are ready to roll. Let's go and get this done. We're off. Number 7 in 7 is go. Come on then. So this is the bit that many people run London for. We're going to cross Tower Bridge. It's mad busy out here. Get all the cheers. Because you're halfway in the miles, not necessarily in the race. It's done.
Yes, James.
Come on, Paul Sandwiches, let's have it! Yes! 7 marathons, 7 days. What a last run that was. Saw loads of people I knew. Hard at first. Had some wonderful company. That's different. That's a different way to spend a week. Got to see my little boy, and he ran along embankment a little bit beside me. I couldn't find him. I had to whiz up and down for about 10 minutes trying to find him, but I didn't want to miss him. But it's done. 7 marathons, 7 days.
Well done.
I've done you.
So a few days after the 7 in 7 challenge, and what a week that was, I am still tired. As an example of that, went to bed at about 6 o'clock the other night and didn't wake up until 8 in the morning. That's what happens to you after you've done this, if anyone's interested. But the most fascinating thing, this COROS Vertix 2, just wanted to give you some summary stats of how the whole week went, because I think there's some really interesting findings that I got from doing that test. So here's some numbers, I've got them written down here. I'm going to take you through them. From 2 weeks and 5 hours this watch lasted, and within that I did 189 miles, 30.5 hours of GPS running. That's with optical heart rate, and 1 run with 3 hours music. So that's a staggering amount of distance and amount of time running with GPS. I was often in the highest settings as well, as you saw through the video. Now, if you break that down into the little sections, like a full GPS run in GPS only burned just 2%, and that stacks up to more than 140 hours billing that COROS has actually got for this watch. When I went to all systems, for the runs, that burnt about 5%, so that scales up to around 90 hours, which again is sort of in line with what COROS is claiming. When I went to all systems plus dual frequency, it went up to about 7%. So that's when you're getting that kind of, supposedly that kind of hyper accurate GPS mode that only burnt 7%. The all systems plus dual frequency and music for the 3 hours that I did it, that run burnt 17% with 3 hours of music there. So still a good solid performance. Later runs that I did with the dual frequency and all systems on together, both sort of burnt 9%. Overall, if you average out those 3 runs, for a 4 hour run, you're looking at around kind of 8%, and that's around 50 hours bang on, again, what COROS has kind of predicted with this watch. Overnight, between these runs, you were looking at burning about 1% really through kind of sleep tracking and all of that kind of stuff. And then between runs, so run to run, it was looking at around 2 to 3% with kind of general usage. Again, so that kind of really interesting here is a sort of slow burn rate when you're not running as well, keeping this watch ticking over throughout. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the journey. I certainly enjoyed running it. Don't forget, we've got loads of other videos in this COROS Partner series on the channel that you can check out in our dedicated playlist. We've got things like a dedicated look through EvoLab. We've also done some really, really good guides to which watches you should buy. So keep an eye out for those on the channel. Like and subscribe. Ask any questions in the comments, and we hope to see you again soon on the Run Testers. Thanks for watching.